Hey friends, it's Carlos Whittaker. Thursday, June 12th, 2025. Today is going to be a bit of a heart-heavy episode. It's personal. It's deeply human. And I want to invite you in. So I was about 7 years old when I first felt what it meant to be other. I was in a grocery store with my mom, and she was speaking Spanish to me, like she always did. Carlitos, ven acá. And out of nowhere, a woman behind us, she raised her voice. And I'll never forget, she literally said, I could hear her right now, "This is America. Speak English." I'll never forget, I watched my mom, my beautiful mom, shrink just a little. Her voice got quieter. Her eyes dropped. And in that moment, something in me changed. That day, I learned that to some people, love of country meant rejection of people like us. Now, I say some people because I know that's not everybody. But as a 7-year-old, it's hard to not lump every people into some people. That little boy, he still lives in me. And so this week, with what's happening in Los Angeles, that little boy in me has been a little bit louder than usual. Now, listen, I know this is complex, and I'm not here to hand you a hot take. I'm not trying to change your policy stance or push an agenda, but what I am here to do is to invite you into something deeper. Because I believe that curiosity is more powerful than certainty, and proximity is more powerful than politics. So today we are asking, how do we stay human when the headlines are trying to steal our empathy? How do we hold both grief and grace, law and love? This, my friends, is Human School. And today we're talking about how to stop letting fear tell us who we are. You ready? Let's go. I could not have timed that better. Also, FYI, because this is obviously a very touchy topic to a lot of people, like I've really scripted this out more than I normally do. But I did that, and I tell you, I did that because I just want to make sure that I say what I want to say, right? And sometimes, in conversations like this, things can bubble up. And I think you can have things bubble up when you're in a conversation with a friend across coffee, but people are going to clip this and send it to their friends. And so I can't change my mind once I say it. So I spent a lot of time typing. Okay. So let's talk about for a second what's happening and why it's hard. So obviously this isn't a news show. We have talked about the news. We've talked about hard things. But you can go to your favorite news platform, find out from your perspective what is happening in Los Angeles right now, what's been happening. There's been a ramping up of enforcement of certain policies, especially in communities that are already living on the edge, right? So there's stories from families torn apart, from parents arrested in front of their kids, from kids scared to go to school. There's all the stories that are happening, right? And I'm not going to spend time breaking down every detail because that's not what this podcast is for. But I will tell you this. This isn't theoretical for me. I'm the son of immigrant parents. My parents followed every rule. They paid every fee. They stood in every line. And even they lived in fear. So I need you to hear me say that again. My parents, again, I'm the son of immigrants. My parents followed every rule, paid every fee, stood in every line, and even they still lived in fear. But why, Carlos, if they followed all the rules? Because that's just the reality of humanity, right? Now, I know that the thing somebody's going to say right away is like, well, if you followed all the rules, then you don't have to be worried. Well, it's just not that easy. It's not easy when you're in a community and say you followed the rules and your neighbor didn't follow the rules. And are you going to be confused for your neighbor? Like, well, maybe move to the suburbs then, so people won't, we start getting into, you should do this in order to avoid the pain of the reality that you exist in. So listen, this is not a headline. It's a heartbeat. And I always believe in this, that you can't fear someone once you've heard their story, breath to breath, face to face, because proximity changes everything. And that's why curiosity must come first. Now listen, 99.99% of podcasts that you listen to are not going to say curiosity comes first, right? They're going to say the fist needs to come first. We can deal with curiosity later. But I want to ask you this. What are the stories that you haven't heard? Who are the people you haven't gotten close enough to understand? And again, listen, just because I'm a son of immigrants doesn't mean that I am going to only be asking people from one perspective to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, so just hang with me. So I'm like this week, I took some time to reach out to a few families that I know personally in Southern California who are walking through this. And all I did was listen. Okay, I didn't fix anything. I didn't record it for socials. I just sat in the tension with them. If you want to soften your heart, spend less time defending your opinion and more time defending somebody's dignity. So I want to walk you through the framework that I think I've walked you through this framework before, maybe a few months ago on the podcast, but I want to apply it to this situation. Okay. Again, what's the framework that's saving me in situations like this? Yes, I have my phrase, don't stand on issues, walk with people. I think this is the way to do it, which is curiosity leads to empathy. Empathy leads to trust. Trust leads to relationship, and relationship leads to change. And I think everybody here wants change. No matter what kind of viewpoint of this issue that you're looking at it from, I think everybody wants change, right? But if you want change, you have to start with curiosity. And right now, we're not curious. We're certain. There is certainty happening. There's not curiosity. But certainty without curiosity, that's not strength. Honestly, it's blindness. So what are some questions we can be asking? Here's some curious questions. Ready? This again, I mean, geez, I shouldn't probably even upload this because all I'm going to do is make everybody mad. But I think it's just important for everybody to be asking this question. Here's a question. Ready? Why would someone leave everything they've ever known and risk everything to get here? Why in the world would someone do that? Some of you need to ask that question. Some of you need to ask this question. What does it feel like to be an ICE agent ordered to do something they're not comfortable with? Have you ever thought about that? You mean maybe there are some agents that are ordered to do things they don't want to do? I mean, I can't even imagine. Or how about this question? What narratives are running through my head right now, and where did they come from? See, curiosity isn't about becoming passive. It's actually about staying open. Let me be honest. Some of my biggest growth moments came when I realized I'd been too quick to assume I understood the whole story. There's almost always a layer that we're missing. I won't even say almost. There's always a layer that we're missing. So here's the deal. When you ask better questions, you hear better stories. And better stories make you a better human. So last week, the pitcher for our Aquatru water purifier broke. And I freaked out. Now, thankfully, Aquatru sent us a new pitcher really quickly. But why did I freak out? Because I just don't trust the tap water anymore. I don't. I used to be a tap water guy. And now I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? Because my Aquatru water purifier water tastes absolutely incredible. Literally. This is why you have to check out Aquatru. Aquatru purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process, and their countertop purifiers, which is the one that we have, work with no installation or plumbing. It removes 15 times more contaminants than ordinary pitcher filters and are specifically designed to combat chemicals like PFAS and others in your water supply. Okay, now listen, the filters, they're affordable and they last a long time. You don't have to change them every 2 to 3 months. Aquatru filters last from 6 months to 2 years. And just one set of filters from their classic purifier makes the equivalent of, get this, 4,500 bottles of water. That's less than 3 cents a bottle. Go to the grocery store and pick up a bottle for that price. I don't think you can, okay? It's even portable, making it perfect for renters or even college dorms. In addition to drinking water, you can use it for your coffee, your tea, your cooking, all the stuff. And if you have pets, they're part of the family too. Give them some of that Aquatru water purifier water as well. I can truly taste the difference compared with my old water filter. Literally, I got it delivered straight to my home and it was so easy to set up. Listen, I need to let you know, if you're hesitant about drinking tap water, don't worry, Aquatru is there for you. Aquatru comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Today, my listeners receive 20% off any Aquatru purifier. Just go to aquatru.com, that's AQUATRU.com, and enter code Carlos at checkout. That's 20% off any Aquatru water purifier when you go to aquatru.com and use promo code CARLOS. This is going to stretch some of us, okay? When it talks about justice, I've been in it. I've been on X. I've been on Instagram. I've been seeing everybody hot take left and right. This is going to be the hottest take of them all. Ready? What if real justice doesn't live in the extremes, right? So we're only seeing justice on the extreme edges here. What if it lives in the tension? We live in a world that loves either or. You're either for strong borders or for open chaos, right? That's like what people think. You're either for law and order or you're soft on crime. You're either for America or you're against it. But what if that's too simple? What if real wisdom lives in the both and? So let me give you 3 of those tensions that we should be sitting with right now. Okay. Number 1, you can want safety and dignity. Do you think that that's actually possible? Is it plausible to want safety and dignity? Safety is real, and so is fear. So we can't ignore either. But dignity, that's the starting line. It's actually not optional. If you strip someone of their dignity, you don't just harm them, you actually harm your own soul. I know you may not be thinking that you're harming your own soul by stripping the dignity from somebody else, but literally you are ripping your humanity off of your soul. So you can want safety and dignity. Number 2, you can follow laws and question methods. We're called to respect order. You guys know I'm a big fan of that. There's a lot of law enforcement officers and families, LEO families that follow me. You know, you go back to my podcast in 2020, 2021, you know what I'm talking about. I am called to respect order, but we're also called to see people, right? To recognize when the system that was designed to protect may be now used to intimidate, right? So following the law and order doesn't mean you shut off your heart. Gosh, again, well, Carlos, there can be no heart when it comes to, this is the law, this is the line, black and white. I don't know. I've been arrested before, and I was really grateful for the heart of the officer because it could have gone differently. We could talk about that on another episode. Number 3, you can hold convictions and a soft heart. Literally, you can hold convictions and keep a soft heart. Your convictions matter. I've talked about this so many times. But if they cost you your empathy, you may have won the argument but lost your humanity. You can believe in strong borders and still grieve when a father is taken away in the middle of the night. You can respect law enforcement officer and still ask whether midnight raids are the most effective way to uphold justice. These aren't contradictions. They're literally the muscles of your maturity. Remember, faithfulness isn't just about what you believe. It's about how you carry it. I don't want us to lose our humanity in this. Like what are we supposed to do with all of this? Like, how do we walk forward without numbing out or burning out? I think one thing that could be helpful is to remember what I believe should be the first step in our humanity on how we see people that have entered this country and are here. They're here. What do we do? How do we see them? Do we see them as invaders? Or do we see them as humans? And yes, there are some very bad people that have come into our country. And I'm not saying that we don't find those people and let the consequences of their actions begin to fall into place. But what I will tell you is most of these people are not invaders. Let me before, you know what? I'm gonna let my father's got a part of his story. Now, many of you fell in love with my dad. Again, first generation immigrant from Colón, Panama, immigrated to the United States with $20 cash and a shoe shine kit. He's the American dream, right? He died Dr. Fermin Agustin Whittaker. And before his dementia took hold, I was able to sit down with him when his memory started slipping and record an entire podcast interview with him. And we'll link his whole interview in the show notes. But I want to let you hear one part of his story. And when he tells this part of the story, because I remembered him telling this and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I wonder what my dad would have done had this space that he was ministering in been raided. Because it probably could have. Especially if this was in 2025, as opposed to 1965. Can't remember when this was exactly. But I'm going to play you a little clip of my dad's story. And then we'll come back. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, here we go.
Then I found a way to come to the United States. And I had worked in New York City during the summertime in Poughkeepsie and Kerhonkson, next close to West Point, with migrant workers who came to New York.
So
that's where I started my preaching ministry, was in New York State.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that. You're in New York City. It's the summers in between your school in Toronto, and you're working. What does it mean to be working with migrant workers?
These are the people who pick the oranges and the bananas and the fruits off the trees for us. These are the workers that work in the farms in the United States.
And so, what were you doing working with that? Like, what does that mean? What were you doing? Were you just?
I was a summer missionary.
Okay.
For the Southern Baptist Home Mission Board.
Okay.
And they would have young adults to go to all over the nation to do ministry.
Okay.
Only for 8 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And my assignment was to go to New York City and try to minister to the Hispanics in New York, upstate New York. And where I could make an impact was on the migrant centers. When the men came off the fields, before they had dinner, we would sit down on the ground in the middle of the dirt and the junk, and I would preach to these men.
Wow. So
about Jesus Christ.
These guys are out in the fields all day. They're exhausted. Right. They get bussed back to one location where there's going to be a meal for them. And you're saying that everyone kind of sits down, and before the meal, you're able to preach.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay. I just remember my dad telling me that story. And I just think to myself, this should be the conversation we're having with migrants, legal or illegal, that are here hungry, desperate for work. Why don't we tell them about the greatest love ever? Instead of pointing fingers, calling them invaders, sticking them on a plane and shipping them off to wherever wherever they end up. I am 100% for safety, for secure borders. Something in me when I remembered my dad tell that story, wanted to go back and listen and think to myself, is this the posture of our heart? Is it? Now, typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. Y'all know that, filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that our kids should never eat. That's why Hiya created a super-powered chewable vitamin. That's right. It tastes good, and it's perfect for y'all's picky eaters. I've been shipping my Aquatru vitamins to my brother, and his kids love them. It's formulated with the help of pediatricians and nutritional experts. Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many, many more. It's also vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and all the other free that you need. Every single batch is third-party tested for heavy metals, and so I need to let you know these things are the truth. Now, here's something else you may be battling. Are you tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens? Hiya now has Kids Daily Greens Plus Superfoods, a chocolate-flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with 55 whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, and digestion. All you gotta do is take a scoop, shake it up, sip it with milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. We have worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you got to go to hiyahealth.com/humanhope. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/humanhope and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Let me give you an invitation. Before you say anything online, again, whether it be about a politician, law enforcement officer, a migrant family, legal or illegal, I want you to ask yourself, would I say this at a table with people who disagree with me? Would I say this at a table? It's like the dinner table test, okay? This test has saved me from turning truth into a weapon. The dinner table test. Would I say this at a table with people who disagree with me? Number 2. Okay. Second invitation. Find one story this week that stretches your view, not confirms it. Ask someone from a different background, what has this moment been like for you? And then actually listen. You have friends that this moment has been different for them than it has been for you. Okay, so whether you're somebody who believes, who would be protesting in Los Angeles, say you're somebody that would be in Los Angeles protesting, I want you to find a story of somebody that can stretch your view. That's not going to confirm it. Okay, they believe differently politically than you. They believe differently about how things, they actually agree with how things are going in LA. And ask them, what's this moment been like for you? Why? And actually listen. And just listen. Don't try to change their mind. Okay. If you're somebody that's like, man, this is awesome. More heavy hands. Round them all up, ship them off. Find one story and perspective this week around you that stretches your view, not confirms it. Ask someone again with a different background that may be like me, that remembers people have said things. This is America, speak English. That ask someone like me, what's this moment been like for you? How's the little boy Carlos been feeling through this whole thing? And actually listen. Just listen. Just listen. Every moment we have does not need to be a moment to shift the freaking planet and someone's perspective. Sometimes the moment is just for our own learning. So, first invitation. Would I say this at a table with people I love who disagree with me? Second invitation. Swap someone's story. Find a story that stretches your view, not confirms it. Ask someone from a different background, what's this moment been like for you? And then just listen. And then if you're a person of faith and you want to pray, let me give you a simple prayer, okay? Literally maybe pray with someone this week, not just for them, but with them. And you can borrow my prayer. God, show me what you see. Again, if you're not a person of faith, we can skip this part. But if you are, God, show me what you see. What do you see when you see what's happening? God, break my heart for what breaks yours. Make me more like you. Amen. Come on. We say that, everything can change. So, you want me to give you a fourth? We'll call it the compassion budget. If you feel helpless, don't forget the power of generosity, right? Can you give to an organization that's helping families? Can you support local immigrants in your community? Compassion isn't just a feeling, it's an action. Are there law enforcement families that you can send a meal to that may be feeling the stresses of this? Literally take 15 minutes this week and put empathy into your calendar. Reach out, show up, stand with. That 7-year-old boy in the grocery store, he's still here. But now he's using his voice, not to shout, but to invite. I'm just inviting you. I'm inviting all of you because I believe with my whole heart, the world doesn't need more people who are right. It needs more people that are human. If this episode stirred something in you, don't scroll past it. Send it to someone you trust. Talk about it around your table. Let it soften something in you before you want it to soften something in them. Because every single act of curiosity is an act of resistance. And every time you build a bridge, you remind the world that this is human school. And we're still all learning. See you next time on another episode of Human School.